Close your eyes. Imagine a map, a long, slender peninsula reaching down from the mainland of Asia toward the equator. This is the Malay Peninsula. It has been there for a very, very long time. Long before there were roads, or cities, or clocks. There was just the rain, the trees, and the tides. For thousands of years, the climate has remained remarkably consistent. Warm, humid. The average temperature rarely fluctuates more than a few degrees. Imagine the steam rising from the forest floor after a midday rain. It happens almost every day. It is a cycle that does not change. Around 2,500 years ago, early settlements began to dot the coastline, places like the Bujang Valley. If you were there then, you would see small wooden structures on stilts. You would hear the sound of the tide pulling back over the mudflats. People were trading iron and beads. There was no rush. Ships relied on the monsoon winds. The winds blow from the northeast for half the year, then they simply stop. Then they blow from the southwest. To travel was to wait, months of waiting for the wind to change. Imagine the stillness of a port city during the doldrums, where the air is heavy and the sails hang limp. In the north, the kingdom of Kedah Tua grew slowly. It was a place of clay and river water. They built monuments of brick, thousands of them, baked in the sun. If you walk there today, you can still find the remnants of these bricks, smoothed by centuries of rain. They are silent witnesses to a time when life moved at the pace of a rowing boat. Now, we move forward in time, but the pace remains the same. It is the year 1400. A prince named Parameswara is resting under a tree. He is tired. He watches a small white mouse deer. The deer is tiny, but it turns and kicks his hunting dog. Parameswara thinks to himself, "This is a brave place." He decides to stay. He names the place after the tree he is sitting under, the Malacca tree. Malacca becomes a center of the world, but it is a world of whispers and soft silk. Imagine the harbor filled with hundreds of ships from China, India, and Arabia. They carry nutmeg, cloves, and sandalwood. The air in Malacca smells of spice, a heavy, sweet scent that clings to everything. The Sultan's palace is made of wood, intricately carved. There are no nails, only joints that fit together perfectly. Imagine the craftsman carving a single leaf pattern into a beam of teak wood. Scrape, scrape, scrape. It takes weeks to finish one beam. Inside, the floors are covered in cool woven mats. The Sultan speaks in a low voice. The laws are written on palm leaves. Islam arrives, spreading like ink in water. Slowly, naturally. The call to prayer echoes over the water at dawn, a steady, melodic rhythm that signals the start of another slow, humid day. Merchants sit in the shade of the counting houses, drinking tea, waiting for the tides. This was the golden age, but it was a quiet gold. The years begin to blend. In 1511, ships with heavy wooden crosses on their sails appear. The Portuguese, later the Dutch, later still the British. They bring stone and mortar. They build forts with thick walls. Imagine the sound of a heavy iron key turning in a lock. Clink. The British are interested in tin and rubber. They map the interior. They build railways that cut through the green silence of the jungle. Imagine the steam engine moving slowly through the hills of Perak. Chug, chug, chug. The soot settles on the broad leaves of the ferns. Rubber trees are planted in long, straight rows. Every morning, before the sun is high, a worker makes a small diagonal cut in the bark. A single white drop of latex forms. It crawls down the groove into a ceramic cup. Drip, 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 millions of trees, millions of drops, all happening in the silence of the early morning mist. In 1957, a new era begins. Merdeka. Independence. A crowd gathers in a stadium in Kuala Lumpur. They shout, but the sound fades into the sky. The country begins to build, but the old rhythms remain. The rainforest still breathes. The monsoons still come and go. Today, the skyscrapers of Kuala Lumpur reach for the clouds, made of glass and steel. But beneath them, the earth is still the same red clay of the Bujang Valley. The rivers still flow slowly toward the Strait of Malacca. The history of this land is not a series of explosions. It is a long, continuous breath, in and out. The past is not gone. It is just resting, like you are resting now. The rain continues to fall on the broad green leaves. The tide continues to pull at the shore. Everything is as it should be. Everything is still.